Alright, I'm back. Am I actually here?
Yes.
Cool, cool. Is the Tom here?
No.
No, he's not here yet.
Nope.
Would you like me to regale you with what happened in my first D&D session with the Americans?
Um, I have no doubt that it's going to be entertaining. Go on.
So, more or less, my character has popped into existence in front of them. Like, my character was just practicing spells at his school
Yeah, so
when it
basically
happened.
just Wizard University student teleports by accident.
Well, yeah, because I have wild magic.
Yes, yes.
So I pop up in front of these guys. Keep in mind, my character is prejudiced towards non-humans.
Ah.
All of the party are non-humans.
Oh no! This is gonna shape up to be like a bad fucking comedy. Holy shit.
Because basically because they are all like because of where he comes from, humans tend to get enslaved. Anyway,
Oh.
yeah, so he tries to talk to them, like doesn't want to talk to them in Trondathan,
Speak to
but
them in Elvish. They'll appreciate
no, he didn't speak to them in that either.
that. Oh
I could
no.
have technically looked at taking that as a thing for flair, but I wasn't sure about what to do.
Do it.
So basically, um, I'm pretending not to speak their language, and they're getting really suspicious of me because they basically have these. They've been told, don't trust anyone. They could be this, they could be that, blah blah blah. Like, so my character's sitting there basically panicking because he's basically surrounded by what he sees
Racists,
as,
enslavers.
yeah.
Oh no.
So he's purposely not wanting to actually talk to them unless, they talk in a language that's from where he comes from. Anyway, so that doesn't work out. But he doesn't want to, like, basically he then goes and tries to talk to the barkeep. The barkeep doesn't actually, like, the innkeeper doesn't actually speak any of the other language here, that, like, obviously the barkeep speaks languages, but, basically goes, okay, cool, I'm gonna rip this guy off.
Oh
However,
no.
however, I, however, I don't have the money for him to rip me off.
Oh.
So I have to sleep outside. So I choose to sleep in their cart because, it's not on the ground. And I don't know where else to go. And it was just left there. So it's like, what harm can come of it? Anyway, I wake up to one of the other players is basically a squirrel.
Oh. Like an actual
Yeah,
anthropomorphic squirrel or just a squirrel that can talk?
I'm not 100% sure, but pretty much very, apparently pretty much a sugar glider squirrel.
Okay, so clearly the squirrel broke into like a wizard's
No,
house and just
they're
bred
apparently
these.
they are actually an actual race. Apparently,
Like they're actually sentient squirrels in D&D.
I apparently so. I
Either
did
that
not
or
know
they're...
this.
What if they're squirrels that they just speak English?
It's anyway. It's so basically this squirrel basically pokes me. I see because I'm half asleep. It's nighttime. I'm human, so I don't have dark vision, so I don't see more detail. I just see a rodent and go rat without thinking. So basically, this squirrel basically then pries me. I go, um, I basically give in to his prying.
Uh,
And basically, I tell him, and he goes, look, we're leaving tomorrow. This is our cart. Basically, if you're coming with, you're coming with. If not, don't be here. I basically go, this just seems to be like it's a way home kind of thing.
Yes.
So basically, before anyone else actually gets the checks the cart, the squirrel checks the cart to see if I'm still there, notices I'm still sleeping, covers me with a sheet. So I'm end up getting woken up by things hitting me,
No.
and I'm covered with a sheet. So my character's like, the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah, start beating him. Beat him.
like he's like basically because
You're
he's
literally getting
strange.
beaten to death by Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's what you're getting beaten to
No,
death by.
stuff was getting chucked on actually by the elf and the gnome actually.
Ah.
But I didn't know what was going on, so I'm getting things chucked on me. I'm thinking
The fuck?
like, and obviously panic is also setting in because am I getting enslaved?
Maybe.
Did they see me? Like I still have absolutely no idea where I am. So anyway, basically a day goes by where I'm just sitting there like hiding under this sheet because no one's looking for me, and I'm just sitting there going, like not sure what to do. Anyway, the next morning comes by and my character gets hit in the nuts, and obviously me being male, I go, ooh.
Right.
Everybody,
Okay.
everybody, but the person who threw the bag on me heard. And I then get basically they're like, the fuck, what are you doing? Like literally,
Get out of the car.
even more suspicious than they already were of me. Basically, the squirrel's basically going, he's my pet human. I wanted him as my pet. You know, mind you, I know what they're saying, and this squirrel's basically saying he's my pet, which my character's brain goes, pet, master, master, slave, slave. Oh shit.
Yeah, fuck.
So, my character's sitting there also panicking, and then eventually he breaks down and lets them know they really don't trust me at this point. Then we come across three skeletons. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be an easy encounter.
Have you ever seen an explosive barrel with the word milk on it before? Oh, just when you think you've seen everything. Yeah, anyway, continue.
So, basically, we get into this battle with the three skeletons. I'm not originally it was going to be 8, but it got downsized to 3. But that ends up not fucking mattering one bit at this point. After I cast my first spell. Now, my character has wild magic, right? I have a specific spell that allows me to trigger it a bit whenever I kind of want to.
Triggered.
It's more like so being a little more roleplay orientated
Yes,
in
yes.
general. I decided to because I had magic missile, right?
Oh no, the glorious magic missile. Yes, God. Oh.
But so I purposely say to the DM, look, I'm going to cast it this particular way. Even though I have it, I'm going to purposely cast it this way, just for flair. Not thinking much of it, just thinking, oh yeah, chances are it won't go to, chances are it will just be a couple,
Yeah.
Maybe instead of a magic missile, I shoot a fireball. No, that's not what happens at all.
Oh dear. What happened? Come on, give me the good bit.
So, as I cast basically going magic missile because I think it's a verbal component because at level 1 it's weird. So I cast magic missile with the intention of, but because I'm purposely using it, it goes wild.
Yeah.
Music starts playing.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. Then, basically, another player takes 5 cold damage.
Oh. Behold us, Titanius. I cast a freeze ray upon you. What? There's no
Oh
such
no,
thing as a freeze ray.
no,
You mean the colon
it gets
coldness?
better. It gets better.
Alright, how does it get better? We can only go up from
The
here.
the spell still hits the skeleton, and then it basically, I think it true polymorphed into a gorilla.
Oh. Oh no.
Well, an ape. To which I
Gorilla.
thought was my long lost brother. I kind of wish I had have made the joke, but Tom kind of made me realize that I missed out on a joke. Also, I gained a fire breath weapon.
That's not bad.
Oh, the only good thing that happened. But it's like for like 7 turns or whatever. Mind you, because I think it's my long lost brother, I start running towards him. Basically, I know I've completely fucked. I know I've completely screwed the boot, so I basically just go. I'm hoping I can somehow fix this as both a player and a character.
Yeah, something's gotta be done here.
So obviously, I'm going through all kinds of fucking spell indexes to utilize multiple different random spells. And basically, one character goes down, then another. The closest thing to anything, I basically I take out one skeleton because I'm like, oh, I better protect my brother. Mind you, of course, I yelled out, "Yeah, Harambe!" as I was running towards the gorilla, like the ape, for obvious puns at that point. Like that's just, I kind of still wish I'd yelled "Sips," because anyone who knows
Sips.
Dango Doodles, it would have made a lot. It would have been a bit more fucking hilarious of a reference. But basically, I eventually, basically, in amongst this, one character goes down. The elf grabs the squirrel creature that got down first. So, the guy who defended me is the first person downed. By the way,
Sounds about right.
Then the dwarf gets downed.
As you do.
The dwarf thing gets dragged. I eventually, like, there's a couple other bits and pieces that, basically the gnome, the dwarf, the gnome and the elf try to escape with the squirrel because there's nothing else they can do at that point. Mind you, they were like, nah, fuck this, we're out. So they leave the dwarf who actually has something they need, apparently. I wasn't there. So I eventually downed the gorilla as well. Because in their flight they took out the extra skeleton. So, and basically, I had taken one arrow to my body at one point. I finally downed the gorilla. I took another arrow because the gnome was just taking pot shots at me like, fuck this guy in particular. Oh, no, he basically saw the Mage of Misfortune as he named me. And basically, I purposely said, because I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about what was going to happen. But, you know, so obviously I was saying, oh, the arrow hit me through the mouth. And I passed out. I stabilized almost instantly. The only lucky thing. Normally, you're unconscious, but this played out a bit better. So they come over, they help the dwarf. They leave me. They ignore me. I'm sitting there, like, begging for help because I'm downed. Still kind of not knowing what's going on. As I'm trying to beg because I have my jaw basically locked in place by this arrow that's going through one cheek and out the other. So all I'm basically able to do is, but that isn't what everyone hears. All they hear is church music because the gnomes use this spell to do that.
Oh my god, fucking gnomes, man.
To which he then also casts a thing of silence around him. So as he got closer, the music got quieter.
Oh.
And he slit my throat.
Oh, that's rude.
Not really when you think about it. We are playing a evil-leaning game.
Evil leaning. Well, that's certainly very evil of you. To slit my throat, good sir.
I kind of fucking deserved it.
Why?
I show up completely out of nowhere. I sneak onto their cart. For all they know, I have
Here's AIDS.
brainwashed the squirrel. And then I somehow injure and one of the characters, turn one of the enemies into a fucking gorilla. And basically down two characters. Inadvertently. I inadvertently knocked out two characters.
Inadvertently, in quotation marks.
Well, yeah, so they're sitting there going, fuck this guy. Just no.
I like
so
how
even the person.
I like how that option is to slit your throat. That's hilarious.
Oh no! Basically, they did that for the basically. It worked out for the best though. It turned the group of players or group of characters into a proper party. And basically from that, I died.
Rip.
Like, you know, I did say, hang on, why is nobody trying to the one person who should have vouched for me because I'm the only one who saved their ass. The others were fucking running away. Also, just let it happen. Just watched and let it happen. Because he's because I'm the reason he got down. So you know, he's like, fuck this guy. Even though I'm the only one who stuck around to save him. So you know, the character doesn't know that though because he was unconscious and unstable that whole time. So yeah, my character died that way.
Fucking wow, that's a way to go.
Mind you, I'm not dead. My character isn't actually dead.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, I said, okay, hear me out. I want to keep the same character, but I want to reincarnate. through the fact that my anger, my fear, my generalized um, desire for revenge right now, as I'm dying of
Man,
my,
literally too
I want
angry
it.
to die.
Yeah, and all that mixed with my wild magic, basically allowed me to reincarnate.
Well, isn't this
In,
going to be something?
oh yeah, mind you, I'm an Asima now. I am basically a chosen hero.
Well,
Which
that's
is
one way to. That's one way of it.
like, so my character got a +2 to its wisdom when I basically reincarnated. 90% of everything stayed the same. I got extra to where is it? Um, I got an extra +2 to wisdom, +2 to my charisma. So, yes, I was literally, man, too angry to die. But because I got an extra wisdom, I'm like, I'm not going to kill them.
Interesting.
I'm going to make, basically, my character is going to make them suffer in multiple ways instead. So I'm not going to kill them, but I'm going to interfere with everything.
As one should.
Yeah. Didn't realize certain things until after I've done some looking into things. So I've obviously I've got to sit down with the GM at some point or somebody. Um, because yeah, my character is like back, like he was going to come back purely for revenge. Like I was gonna like try and do this whole long played out thing, but now I just want to mess with them. Like my character just wants to.
Screw with them.
Basically, he wants to play the long game simply because he wised up a little bit
Well, I mean, his
through his
wisdom went
death.
up, so that's reasonable.
Yeah, when I realized that, I'm like, yeah, my character wanted to kill them instead. Like, wanted because
Wanted to, but is now scheming.
yes.
This motherfucker wanted to kill you. He is now planning to scam you. I don't know
No,
how you two can find out.
yeah. Mind you, they, like, everyone but one player, because he wanted to go to bed, um, knows that I reincarnated.
Wait, what?
So, so, like, it's one of those. It's actually a healthy um, group, really. Basically, the only person that doesn't know yet is only because they went to sleep. Um, so basically, my character has reincarnated, so I know things about them. Mind you, I have max charisma because of it. Like 20 charisma, which as far as I'm aware, there is no physical way to put in more than that. There actually is. Okay, so there is a way to increase charisma even further.
Increase your charisma stats. Become the most charismatic person in the world.
So yeah, like obviously I am currently figuring out what's going on in my character's head. Because keep in mind,
Scheming.
no, he's also going a bit loopy because he was prejudiced against other races, even human-friendly races.
So, like, did he, like, reincarnate as, I assume, a gorilla, or...?
No, I've basically reincarnated as a what's called a asthma.
What the fuck's that?
Like I said, it's so basically they are distant relative descendants of a coupling between a human and a god-aligned outsider. A good-aligned outsider. So basically it's I'm like I said, there's a few other bits and pieces apparently on how they are done lore-wise, which I think can, like, my DM's learning I like to play on the lore and whatnot a little bit, because honestly, who else, like, I don't know many, like, I literally played on the fact that I spoke, I understood Chundathan, but I was refusing to speak it at the time. Because I was sitting there basically scared to, you know, and not sure what, and wanted to make sure I was safe. Mind you, as my character was already kind of, like, my original goal with it is, for the most part, was I intended to be an artificer without being an artificer slash part of the artificers guild, because my character felt that, you know, they were a little too multiracial. He also went, well, if slavery's always going to be a thing, I might as well make some money out of it.
Well,
So he was also,
nice.
yeah, but he was also wanting to make items that would allow the enslaved to fight back. So the very
slavery fucking, what is this guy? Bloody what the fuck was his name? Andrew Jackson.
I don't know. I don't care about real life analogies at the moment, dude. So basically, I was going to sell the slavers special items that will help with keeping their slaves in line for a time.
Right.
And then it would allow for the items would allow for revolts by empowering the slave. I'm also chaotic neutral, by the way, so hence why my character is threatening this kind of thing. Because I wanted to be an artificer, but artificers, honestly, in the edition I'm playing as, honestly fucking suck. So they really, realistically, they don't get any major bonuses. Like, I think the only thing that I might be able to use, and that might be later, is just the infusion side of things.
Yeah.
So I am trying to understand how the reincarnate spell actually works properly, lore-wise, as well as everything else.
So how's that going, the lore stuff?
Hmm?
How's the lore stuff coming along?
Um, See, the thing is, I'm still trying to figure out that overall, because there are some things that seem to be that me and like that, because I'm looking at just the books in general, even. See, I was a I'm a sorcerer.
Oh, the sorcerer.
So now I ultimately, my favorite class for my race is completely different now. Mind you, um, I, being a outsider in general,
Hmm.
I believe I get a couple other bits and pieces, because it doesn't appear to be specified overall.
Hmm.
Um, I'm honestly now just trying to find the bits and pieces on outsiders, because actually I think that's technically in the monster manual. Because yeah, um, hmm. Okay, maybe Dungeon Master's Guide will have a thing on outsiders themselves. Uh, I should be using the indexes. It's probably the only way I'm gonna find roughly what I. Uh, deities,
Sorry, my
items.
grandmother's been sending fucking messages asking me to count up on me. She's off on holiday at the moment.
At least she's checking up on you.
Yeah.
Kinda wish I knew where it is origin. So need to figure out what book it actually is in, because but basically I also get a couple other bits and pieces due to it. One, maybe it's in the same one as this one. Maybe if I do.
Have you seen Howl's Moving Castle by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, at least you're a cultured person. I want to have, right, a crossover between Terry Pickett's Discworld, and I want to include Howl's Moving Castle in the exact same setting. As well as Spirited Away. I want the world from Spirited Away to be part of it as well. I honestly think that would be pretty cool. Just have all these worlds sort of loosely connected.
But keep in mind what you're also asking is technically
they also have, I believe, a railway in Discworld in Rising Steam, which is the last book that Terry Pickett wrote. And then in, I think it was, yeah. I mostly had a fever dream of an idea of it. Say it's a sort of episodic series, but it's also a crossover at the same time. This is like a fever dream of an idea that I had, and it was essentially, what if Chichiro from the main movie, right, now we have both Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away, and they're two different films, but what I would like to think is that Spirited Away actually takes place in sort of a spirit-like world, and that world's also part of the disc. And Howl's Moving Castle takes place on the disc in this world.
okay, I need to know what Discworld is. Give me a second.
Okay, Discworld is weird. I love it because it takes the piss out of most fantasy tropes. There's a like fantasy novel, but it's not afraid to take itself seriously at times. It has very interesting lore mechanics, I'll give it that. Like magic is an actual substance, it's an actual element of the periodic table, and it builds up on like the sides of mountains because it's slower than light. And goblins in the book series are known as silicone brains, and the fact that they're so stupid is because their brains are frozen solid. However, in one particular case, goblins that have tried to essentially make themselves smarter by unfreezing said brains right, and only ended up, having their heads explode. Except for one guy who was lucky enough to have his brain be temporarily water cooled by having some sort of water cooling system wrapped around his head. So he could do really complex mathematics. And he managed to be one of the discs, the disc was one of their best mathematicians because he was so fucking good at it. Oh yeah, and then there was the Unseen University, right, where the wizards of the disc, as well as witches, have to be registered to perform any magical acts. They have to go through university to be essentially kept an eye on. And the chairman of the university, I think the Grand Wizard or whatever his name was, accidentally turned himself into an orangutan. And any attempt to turn him back has been met with horrible backfiring spells. Oh god. Ah yeah, and also the undead, quote unquote, the undead. They have a league called the Mortally Challenge League in the series, where they try and fight for better equality of dead people, essentially. Like, say you're a person that died maybe 100 years ago on the disc, and you wake up because some necromancer was an asshole and decided to raise you from the dead, and you got your memories as a result, and you're back again. And you want to, get your possessions back. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go through a department, like public service, and then they basically have to try and search all the assets for you. And it's too bad if you said, your will, that it went to all your grandchildren, now all your grandchildren are dead. Yeah, you're just going to have to start back at square one, buddy. God, I really love the absolute shittery that happened in this world. Essentially, I like to imagine that if you were in the spirit world, you could probably book something like the Polar Express to take you to the station. From that station, right, you catch, I don't know, the Hogwarts Express. From the Hogwarts Express, you end up in fucking Soho. I just think that would be one really hilarious journey. It's like, the Polar Express, for instance, right? We know that according to its song, it's like a magic carpet on rails. So I assume how it works magically is the fact that it can make not only its own track, but it can also fit on literally any track that's nearby by simply altering the track, like how in Santa Claus, if you've ever seen the comedy, where Santa goes down the chimney, right, and the chimney changes to fit him, so he can actually go and deliver presents. I imagine the same thing works with rails.
Yeah, probably. Like, yeah. Or you just take a book out of the fucking Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, what would be hilarious, right? Say, you get lost like Chichiro did in the spirit world. Thankfully, some conductor guy who's at the station, who is just there for reasons unknown. And she gets lost, and the conductor's like, oh, hello? What are you doing here? And it's like, oh, can you take me home? I'm a bit lost. Alright, we'll just take the shortcut. He goes up to this mural of a painting or whatever. Oh, hang on. Hang on. How are you? Good. It's nice and quiet for once in this household. There's no or I fucking know. Oh, for fuck's sake. I've gone the wrong way. Fuck. Stop. not paying attention.
Ah.
My mum walked in, she's here to feed her cats. Whoa. Seriously, I swear to God, when my two grandparents argue, they sound just like I described. It's fucking annoying. Honestly, it's so petty. It's so petty. They don't need to argue over the shit they argue over. Anyway, what were you talking about again?
I was mostly just talking about the whole situational, because technically, yeah, I just So yeah, I'm basically trying to figure out how to play the character I'm now having to play.
Well, I mean, there's not much I can do because it's your character and I don't want to ruin your fun.
I'm just trying to find all the bits and pieces I can do with the character.
I'm talking to one of Tom's mates, okay? I'll do it in a minute. What's the time? 4 o'clock. Yeah, I know. I'll just finish what I'm doing here and then I'll be off. I did put wood in the fire. Don't tell me it's fucking gone in. Oh, about an hour ago?
You put a big piece on?
No, just multiple small pieces. I'll be there back in a minute because I just want to finish this. I'm nearly done. Yeah, there's a severe weather warning coming over Barossa.
Yeah, it's already. We did have one. I'm not sure if we still have one.
See, the problem with the Barossa is that all that weather you guys get up north, all of it flows down to here. And all the weather they get it like down further south also blows this way. It all just meets in the middle.
Apparently, it's just expected to be windy right now, but swear all still all the things in it are still pretty fucking out, like not quite
Not quite.
correct.
Yeah.
So even when you're like looking at this, it's like even when you're looking at I kind of have like two potential
Can't
like
hear you, Mum. I'm sorry. I've got my headset on. Yeah, I've charged everything. Yeah. It's a bit annoying. You picked this time right now to come to the house, mostly because I'm nearly finished doing what I'm doing, and then I'll come talk to you.
kind of bad timing on her part, I'm guessing.
No, it's bad timing on my part.
Did you know she was coming over
Nope.
at that time? No, then you didn't time it bad. She did. At the end of the day, that's actually the bad timing.
Well, that's annoying. Yeah, ow. And that's what I get for not paying attention. Oh well, next time I'll solve this.